It's printed by the companies that build there.
All right. Everybody ready? Grab our seats. Welcome. Good morning, Good morning. My name is Tyler LeCompte. I'm one of the co-organizers here for 1 Million Cups. I'm joined by a slew of other organizers. So if you're here, raise your hand so we can all say thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Any new attendees, any first timers here this morning? Can you raise your hand? Cool. Well, that's right. Carson, welcome. So, we're happy to have you. 1 Million Cups Entrepreneurial Networking Group happens in 170 cities across the country. It's put on by the Kaufman Foundation, so we want to thank you so much for taking the time this morning to help us welcome a local entrepreneur who's got a great story. If it's your first time, as you said, we're going to have a presentation, 15-20 minutes, and then we have questions afterwards, so make sure you're paying attention. We look forward to some great questions for Evan. So Evan Keller is the founder and owner of TreeWork Now. It's a Central Florida tree and landscaping company here in Volusia, correct? West Volusia, I believe, the land area. As well as he's got a foundation that he's called creatingjobs.org that he's going to present to us today. So we're very excited to have Evan. And without further ado, come on up. All right.
Thanks, Tyler. Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good morning.
Cool. Good to see you. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. We're going to jump right in and rewind 10 years to some of my early business failures. Is that all right? All right, and see what I learned from them. So try to listen for what these have in common, okay? I've got 5 of them for you. All right, number 1, the partner from hell. Anyone relate? Hopefully your partner's not in the room, right? Okay, so despite asking people who knew him better than I did about his character, he made me angry every single day. Because I did 95% of the work, I had to knock on his door at 6:30 a.m. every morning and wake him up. He's like, what? Huh? What are we doing? So I sold all but one job. You know, in the 9 months we worked together. And our second tree job was kind of a sign of things to come. Here's what happened. We felled the tree, the easy part, right? And then he said, oh, you know what? I got something to do. I'll be back. Never saw him again. And so this was before we had heavy equipment, so I'm picking up the heavy logs myself and saying, why did I get a partner? You know? So that was kind of strange. Thankfully, I had him sign an agreement that either partner who left the business in the first year walked away without equity. So, all right, mistake number 2. The broken promise. When the fine print of a contract with the national company made me uneasy, I went ahead and signed it after their local representative kind of assuaged my concerns in writing, saying, oh yeah, this is not exactly what it meant, and we'll sign on that. So when he broke his promise, I was stuck with a contract that cost me thousands of dollars while providing no benefit to my company. Fun. All right, number 3, the inside job. So I employed a mechanic to service our fleet and believed his excuses for not properly documenting his expenses when he spent tens of thousands of my company's dollars on auto parts for vehicles that I did not own. Wow. Yeah, my bad. All right, number 4, the lemon. I purchased a dump truck from an out-of-state dealer, sight unseen, without having a mechanic check it out. I figured the low price of $52,000 would make up for any deficiencies it may have. Wrong. It ended up frustrating my crews for years. All right, last but not least, the addict. Before adding a homeless man to our payroll, I had him demonstrate his skills on a job site where he promptly broke his leg. Yeah, he sued for workers' compensation coverage, which he was not eligible for because he was not yet on our payroll, my bad, and since he tested positive for cocaine in the post-accident drug test in the hospital. So we won the lawsuit, but only after a stressful 18-month ordeal with lost sleep on my behalf. So fun. So what do these 5 mistakes have in common? Anybody?
Lack of information making.
Okay. Good. Anyone else? Trust, or lack thereof, right? So I was over-optimistic about people, right? So I extended unwarranted trust. They're all unwise risks, that come from the dark side of my courage and optimism. So with 12 years in business and far more now to lose, here's how these failures have changed me. So those traits can help us, courage and optimism, right? We need those. Like, we can scale some amazing heights with that, but it also can set us up for catastrophic falls. So optimism can morph into invincibility, right? And taking big risks can yield triumphs or collapses that are equally as grand. So here's 3 things that I learned from that. Temper optimism with realism. All right, so we're in a good world where things go wrong, when human depravity rears its ugly head, right? Yeah. Number 2, trust but verify. So now I'm slow to enter into contracts, and I've implemented checks and balances to keep my employees happy. And number 3, don't let thieves rob your joy. So any thriving company is a target for all manner of cheats and thieves, right? Anybody realize that? You start a successful company and it's like, oh, okay, all of a sudden I'm a target. So if you lose sleep over them, you let them win. Don't fear, but rather pity them for who they become, and because their day is coming, right? So I've learned this from one of the wisest and wealthiest people of antiquity, King Solomon, who advised, "Do not fret because of evildoers, or be envious of the wicked. For the evildoer has no future hope, and the lamp of the wicked will be snuffed out." So at the present, I have 3 customers that I may have to take to court, right, for the 30 grand that they owe me. Despite what others do to you, you will succeed if you keep doing business with integrity. So don't let those people rob your joy or take your sleep. So business will give you thick skin, am I right? Yeah. So I'll share about my biggest ever mistake at the end if we have time. But first, Simon Sinek says, start with why. Why, okay. So why did you start your business? Let's hear a couple single phrase answers from some of you. Yeah. I'm with you there.
Freedom is right.
Freedom. Anyone else?
Losing my job.
Losing your job, all right?
That's 3 words.
Yes, sir.
Building wealth for my family.
Okay. Taking care of your family. And wealth, we all need it. All right, good. So a high sense of purpose is an insatiable human longing, right? So Maslow put it at the top of his hierarchy of needs. We even attach meaning to events we find meaningless, like the untimely death of a loved one. So if a daughter is killed by a drunk driver, the mother may start kind of a support group or nonprofit to support those who are coping with that same tragedy, right? I've seen that a lot of times when things like that happen and people can't find any meaning in it. And we don't just want purpose. We want a high purpose, right? Such as helping others. For example, a blood bank needed to increase the volume of blood that it had in its bank. So it offered to pay people for their blood. Guess what happened? Exactly. So fewer people offered their blood. Why? What do you think? Why? The offer of money reduced their altruistic purpose for donating blood, right? Yeah. So the blood bank snatched a high purpose and replaced it with a low one, like swapping a diamond for a fake. All right, so purpose. Rewind with me for 12 years. Back to the beginning. All right, so I was halfway into a lifelong career, I thought, as a mid-level manager of a nonprofit organization. 19 years. I was happy. And but one day my wife sat me down and I could tell it was serious. She said, "Evan, I've got this Lyme disease. It's stealing my life. I'm almost bedridden. Your nonprofit salary is not cutting it. We got to figure out a way to get me healthy, because all these treatments are not covered by insurance, and they're expensive and alternative and all that. We got to do something." So, man, that cut me deep. So I thought about it, prayed about it. 4 days later, started a business. I had no capital, no time, no business training, no business experience. And like you said, I was stupid. I just figured, hey, I just, make a few bucks on the side, help my wife. I didn't realize business takes over your life, right? And so that began kind of the crazy journey that I'm still on. So basically, I just knocked on doors all day Saturday and every day after work and sold my smile, right? And I had no equipment, no insurance, no really know-how. My first job, it was a friend I played hoops with from the YMCA, gave me a $200 for a $400 job because he knew I didn't know what I was doing. I looked up on the internet the night before, how do you fell a tree? Yeah, so I didn't break his fence, and everything worked out fine except that the borrowed truck, 1979 truck, got stuck in the mud. My two chainsaws I borrowed from my brother, both broke, but we made out and made $200. So anyway, slowly we built, with 18-hour days, wearing the 20 hats of an entrepreneur. I aged 10 years in the first 3. Equipment breaks down every day. I fired 26 people in the second year. And, at least I did one thing right. I knew that even if I had the world's best product, without a steady stream of customers, I was dead in the water, right? So I put my best efforts into finding leads through as many channels as possible. I tried everything. I got leads from Christmas parades where we won first place, from hanging off the side of a truck, 50 other sources, including some guerrilla marketing, which is part gutsy, part sketchy. This survived on the side of I-4 for a month or two before they tore it down from an abandoned property. So, who knows what's going to work, right? So, but the centerpiece...
You're a wilder.
So the centerpiece of the powerful lead generation system that I built is an SEO optimized website. So we enjoy top Google rankings for our most important keyword searches: Orlando tree service, Orlando tree trimming, Orlando tree removal. And the Orlando Sentinel cited us as the top rated tree service in Central Florida, which was good to see in print, but we knew that because for years we've had hundreds more 5-star reviews on Google, Home Advisor, and Angie's List than any of our competitors. So this builds trust with people before they even meet us. So why did I start a business? From my story, what would you say?
Desperation.
Desperation.
Yeah, desperation. Money.
Desperation, money, my wife, all that's true, but I would say the higher purpose was, hey, I love my wife, right? Because she's amazing to me, why wouldn't I be whatever I could be for her? So, so money is like the air you breathe, right? It keeps your business alive, right? But whose purpose in life is merely to breathe? Yeah? So let's aim a little higher. The biggest realization that came from my detour into business was what a force for good business could be. So I started for Karen, but I grew to see that I could help people around the world to grow businesses that create jobs for people that desperately need them. So I started a nonprofit called Creating Jobs, Inc. And the purpose statement there is just how the two kind of tie together with my business donating much of my time to run the nonprofit. So if you're unsure of your purpose, perhaps you'll find it at the intersection of what you're best at and what the world needs. I find it a pretty cool experience when your hard-earned business acumen benefits more than just your own venture. Because, you put a lot into that, and it's nice to see it help others as well. So, anyway, so we mentor and train entrepreneurs here in Volusia County and internationally. So I made the choice years ago not to maximize profit in my company. Because, I could have gone statewide, I could have franchised, but because of my strong sense of calling to my nonprofit work, decided to keep one central Florida location. We cover 7 counties, but it's a big enough market for us to continue to grow in there. So you've got to make your business plan fit your life plan, right? Not vice versa. So Accelerate is a program we want to invite you to. Michael Tyree and I run this, and it's a learning and supporting community of local entrepreneurs. Here's our purpose statement. We have some cool multi-ethnic teamwork happening. And so I told you about my mistakes. I wrote what I did right in Growbook. which has 24 practical steps to build a strong business. So it's our curriculum at Accelerate, where successful entrepreneurs will illustrate a chapter per month from their own experience. And here are the 7 parts of GrowBook that those 24 actions are broken into. So GrowBook's only 12 bucks if you want a copy on the table there. I didn't even ask if I was allowed to sell a book, sorry. But
We get a cut, right?
say what?
We get a cut?
Yeah, we'll give you a cut. That's right. So, but better yet, come and check out Accelerate. These are our next 2 sessions. Michael Tyru directs the Bethune program, so chat him up afterwards. And that's going to be on developing systems. David Potashnik, who runs McDonald's in Port Orange. McDonald's has the best systems in the world, right? He's going to be speaking on developing systems. And of course, check us out in DeLand City Hall, too, if you want. So the second half of Accelerate, after the seminar, features some group coaching sessions to help to apply the seminar to your own venture. And Alex, who presented here a couple months ago, is one of our coaches, so thanks to him. Or you can choose one-on-one coaching to discuss any of the business challenges or opportunities you're facing. So anyway, we also have some programs in Haiti, Honduras, and Mexico, and I'll tell you about one of them. What does this Spanish phrase mean? Anybody know? Ser móvil. It means mobile service. So what kind of business do you think this might be? Cell phone. Everyone thinks that. But actually, Saul runs 2 different lines of business under that name. Pest control, and he cleans and installs water cisterns. So either one was mobile phones. So as we were mentoring him in our Honduran program, we told him, you know, maybe you should market your company under 2 separate brandings. Is brandings a word? Yeah? Okay. So I designed 2 logos for him. He really jumped on this. And in the first year, he had a 59% increase in sales, 3 new jobs, and 98% client satisfaction. Part of that was that we also advised him to get out and sell. He had a 9-year employee named Marina, and she was well qualified to kind of be the director of operations, freeing him up to make more sales. So that's the kind of thing we do. And the best part about it is when our mentees become mentors. And now Saul is mentoring Belinda in her construction supply business and helping her, you know, passing it on. So that's what we do. And one last thing, there is a second book we wrote called Start Book. Compassion International wanted us to write this to help train 22,000 Honduran teens to start businesses because they graduate from their amazing spiritual and leadership development programs, but have no jobs to plug into. So our new Start Book will help them develop the character and skills they'll need to create their own opportunities. And it really makes me smile that our mentees turned mentors, like Saul, including him, are featured in the case studies in each chapter of this book. So it helps them impact thousands of teenagers in their own country. So how cool is that?
Yeah. Bravo.
All right, so let's see. I think it's about time for Q&A, but I do have one really big mistake to share if there's time after this.
Yeah, go for it. No, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah,
I got plenty of time.
Okay. All right, just start waving wildly if I put you to sleep or we run out of time.
Yep.
All right, so fast forward to the present. All right, so I've been working a couple years on correcting perhaps my biggest mistake.
So you gonna rock?
Yeah, I was on climbing Mount Mitchell 3 or 4 days ago, so love the outdoors. But actually, my biggest mistake was pursuing customer happiness more than employee happiness. Anybody do that? Yeah. So, and it showed in employee turnover, bickering amongst themselves, lack of care for my $1 million worth of heavy equipment, and disrespect for my customer's property. Why did it take me 10 years to figure this out? You know, duh. I finally realized that happy employees make happy customers, right?
Yeah.
So, but how can I make customers happy? They find happiness the same place we do, right? We think purpose is just for entrepreneurs, right? But employees need purpose too. So I was enjoying living out my purpose around the world without helping my own employees at home find their purpose, find purpose at work. So here's a really cool book, Small Giants. I'm going to read you a quick quote from here. It says, it's imperative to articulate, demonstrate, and imbue your company with a higher sense of purpose. Back to that. That purpose may relate to the work that the business does, or the way the business does it, or the good that comes from doing it, or some combination of the three. But however you frame the higher purpose, it serves the same function. It makes the work people do meaningful. It continually reminds them how their contribution matters and why they should care about giving their best effort. You guys relate to that?
Yeah.
That was deep, huh? That was worth the 15 bucks just for that one quote. All right. So, what is a higher purpose that your business serves?
We put smiles on people's faces.
All right. That's Disney's making people happy, I think, is their mission statement, right? So that's a good one. Yes?
Saving lives.
Saving lives.
Saving lives.
It's hard to beat that. All right. Very cool. All right. So here are the keys I've discovered so far as to how to actually help your employees cultivate a sense of higher purpose. So number one, provide wealth for their families. So money isn't the highest purpose, it's at the bottom, but we all need it, right? So we improve our benefits package every 6 months so that we live out this core value. We value people over money and work to generate profits and jobs that improve lives in our company and around the world. All right? So when I asked my leadership team, the second one, provide them opportunities to see how their work serves others. So I asked that question from that book that I just asked you to my leadership team. And they talked about how healthy trees benefit people, how we make properties safer and more beautiful, how we develop our skills and provide for our families, how we build positive and trusting relationships with clients who deserve better than our industry offers, etc. So our vision is to be the most trusted tree experts. And one of our values says that we wow every customer, right? So number three, help give them opportunities to do their best. So you've got to build a culture of operational excellence. One of our values states, we apply excellence and thoroughness to our work as expressed in our motto, every detail, every time. And hopefully that's in their mind all day, every day. So next, develop their potential. So you got to help your employees find a career path that's attractive, right, and help them get there. So self-actualization is at the top of Maslow's pyramid, right? So we have a development plan for each employee and bring in lots of outside experts for training and spend a lot of money on that because we say we value developing strong leaders. And so we've got to put our money where our mouth is. Next, give them a chance to exercise real authority. Don't hog all the fun, right? Our mission as a company is to grow strong leaders, which is odd because it says nothing about our industry. But it does solve what is wrong with our industry, which wouldn't be as shoddy if tree companies invested more in their people. So a running theme at our company meetings is your voice matters, and we back that up by making actual changes according to suggestions. So at our last company meeting, we listed 16 suggestions that we actually acted on from their suggestions. And so this book is pretty cool because, don't move information to authority, but move authority to the information. So that's how this Navy commander turned the worst performing sub in the fleet into the top performing one. All right, so one of the ways that I'm helping them have real authority is I scrap the detailed 3-year goals that I came up with on my own, and at this Friday's leadership team meeting, I'll get their input on setting goals to advance these 4 core objectives that flow from our vision, mission, and values. So anyway, allowing them to help create our future affirms their dignity as humans, right? Rather than merely machines to do my dirty work, right? All right. enjoy a sense of family. At the core, life is about relationships. So even my burly tree guys just want a hug. They want to know that I care about them personally. I'm like, really? So if you have any ideas on how to help me do that better, I'm having a hard time showing that I care when I'm not on the job site hardly anymore. So, and then another way people imbue a sense of family is to help their family members pursue their dreams. And that's another thing I want to figure out how to do. So if we nurture a sense of family, they begin to find meaning in treating each other right. All right, so lastly, embody core values. So notice that I mentioned several of our core values as I talked about these. And in fact, center your company on core values may be the surest way to add a sense of higher purpose. So the first step in making values real is writing them down, as Stephen Covey said in this quote. All right, so you've got to articulate your DNA, then live it out. So some of our values are kind of aspirational. I tell my team we don't embody these fully yet, but we're really committed to getting there. And to measure that, I had our 25 employees rate the company on how well we live them out. So that was a scary moment of truth. Because, values are nice, they look pretty on a page. But when you ask your employees anonymously how we're actually doing, are we living these, that can be a little scary. So I did an anonymous survey and averaged the scores, and thankfully these are the averages, and it's based on a scale of 1 to 5, not 1 to 10. So I think we're doing okay. I was concerned though, because we had a 3.9 and a 4, and B is okay, but I want an A, right? So it bothered me. I was thinking, okay, how can I make this better? How can we live these out a little better? And the ones that were lower, like value people over money, and we're trying to help people thrive, physically, emotionally, financially, etc. So back to the small giants, and I'm almost done. It says, a way for creating a culture of intimacy is reminding people in unexpected ways how the company cares about them. Unexpected ways. Either by doing what most companies would dream of doing, or by using one of the standard tools like benefits and such in an unusual way. So I was thinking about that, and I was about to go to bed. I was reading this article on Deuteronomy, and it says, don't muzzle the ox as it's treading out the grain. Anyone know what that means?
Yeah.
It's kind of a strange metaphor. What does it mean?
It means if you work, you're worth your pay.
Right. Okay, so the oxen, want to have a little grain while they're helping harvest it, right? So share the rewards of your company. So, we paid double time for 2 weeks after the hurricane. Was that enough? I don't know. So I went to bed, and as soon as I hit the pillow, I thought, hey, my partner just bought a nice property. I'm about to build a nice house for my wife. Why can't I help my employees buy a house?
Wow.
So I couldn't sleep. I'm like, hey, this is awesome. So we're putting together a mortgage assistance program we launch next month. They can get a match of up to $10,000 over 5 years. And it's based on performance reviews. So they want to do their best and so forth. And the kicker is when I woke up in the morning and I finished reading that article, and it said the way the Israelites knew that they were in the promised land was and no longer slaves in Egypt is that every single family owned property. I was like, dang, I'm on the right track. So anyway, bottom line, live with purpose and help your employees do the same. Everyone wins together. Thank you.
Excellent job. Thank you so much for that. That was great. Right? Good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, questions. We got about 15 minutes, so let's get a few in.